The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing two major cases today that could determine the future of affirmative action in higher education across the country. A conservative advocacy group is asking the justices to issue a blanket ban on the consideration of race in college admissions. ABC News senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer joins us now with more on this. Devin, thanks for being here. I want to start with the basics. How is affirmative action used today?
Hey, good morning, Diane. Well, 1 in 5 four-year public universities in this country consider race as one factor in a holistic assessment of their applicants for admission. That's a big number of colleges and universities. They've been doing it for years. The Supreme Court has said schools cannot use quotas and they cannot use racial balancing. No school is said to do that. But there is a compelling interest in diversity on campus, and one that benefits all students, according to the Supreme Court. And that's why so many schools have continued to pursue the use of race to build that diverse student body over time, Diane.
So what's the basis of this case before the Supreme Court?
Well, this is a group of 22,000 students and parents called Students for Fair Admissions. They're led by the conservative activist Edward Bloom. They've been taking on affirmative action for years, Diane, despite all that precedent at the Supreme Court. And these cases were pretty definitively decided in lower courts. This is a suit against UNC, the nation's oldest public university, and Harvard University, the nation's oldest private school. And they've made it to the Supreme Court despite those odds, of course, because it's a different Supreme Court. This is a conservative Supreme Court that's interested perhaps in revisiting that precedent, and we'll see today just how eager they are to overturn it.
So, Devin, what happens once this ruling comes down? Are there, various options of how the ruling could come down, and what's the impact?
Yeah, there sure are, Diane. I mean, the odds in this town are that the Supreme Court is ready to roll back, if not outright overturn affirmative action. And that writing has been on the wall for some time with several members of this court, just like we saw in the abortion case. This is a court now that is not afraid to overturn things that they think were wrongly decided from the start. So what does that mean? Well, it means very soon, if the Supreme Court, as soon as next June, issues a decision that rolls back or ends affirmative action, America's schools can't use race in the application process anymore. That would be pretty immediate. There's some sense that the Supreme Court could potentially issue a narrow ruling applying only to these two schools. But again, Diane, all the indications are that the Supreme Court now is ready to say time's up on the use of race and affirmative action. But today could be some fireworks in these arguments, so we'll have to see what they say. And
Devin, in the conversation around abortion in the Supreme Court, there's been a lot of talk about the fact that Congress could do something on the issue and circumvent the court in a way. Is there something, is this affirmative action case something that could be taken up by Congress?
You know, there's not really anything that the Congress can do to address race in higher education admissions, at least not easily. So we don't expect any action from Congress. Certainly, they've had years to do legislating in that space. They haven't done it. It's not an expectation that they would do so here, Diane. But schools, we know, have been pursuing race-neutral alternatives to building that diverse campus environment for years. But the schools continue to insist, and they'll insist today, that those race-neutral methods simply aren't as effective in building the kind of diverse campuses that will benefit all students, Diane.
Devin Dwyer, we know you'll be watching the case closely for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.